You've probably heard this a lot. A film is written 3 times. Once when you script it, once when you shoot it, and then again when you edit it. But what does this actually look like? What kind of changes are made and how come they're made? Why doesn't the finished film just line up perfectly with the screenplay? In this video, I'm going to break down one of our micro short films, and you'll see how even in a tiny practice film like this, there can be quite a lot of changes from the beginning of the process through to the final film. Double Fault is a no-budget micro short film that tells the story of 2 best mates who are going through a bit of a rough patch in their relationship. They use a game of tennis to let out their frustrations at each other before they can properly talk about it. If you haven't seen the film yet, you can watch it at this link and then come back and finish this video. The film's only 2 minutes long. I'm going to take you through an example of something that was written in the script that then changed when we shot the film, and then changed again when we edited the film. First up, we have the script writing stage where you actually write out the scenes in the screenplay. As you can see from this, we've got a scene that takes place inside a kitchen during the daytime. The characters are having their coffees, and for us as writers, we thought this would be a morning scene where the characters have maybe just woken up. The scene goes on to set up the conflict between the 2 main characters and the awkwardness of that conflict. Another thing that I want to point out in the script is that during the climax of the tennis rally, these are the final words they shout at each other. "You're such a selfish prick and get over yourself." If you've gone ahead and seen the film, you'll know that there's a little bit more to it in the final product. So next up, we have the shoot itself. How was the film rewritten when we got on set and started shooting it? We had the first scene where we set up the characters' conflict take place at night instead of during the day. This was actually a decision that came out of practical considerations. I'll break it down for you. Knowing that this was a no-budget short film for practice and for fun, we wanted to smash out the whole shoot in 1 day. When it came to building our schedule, we wanted to get all of the stuff at the tennis courts done first, because we knew that this would probably be the more complicated things where we might need help with diffusers and C-stands and things like that. The plan was to then head round to our friend's house in the afternoon to shoot the first scene, the interior kitchen daytime scene. Even though we knew it was more complicated and we had scheduled it first, it still took a lot longer to shoot the stuff at the tennis courts than we had planned for.
Action. Oh no, wrong one, sorry.
Hot tip for filmmaking, everything takes a lot longer than you think. Always. Every time. By the time we wrapped up the scenes at the tennis courts, the sun was actually setting, and there was no way we were going to be able to shoot with daylight at our friend's house. And we couldn't fake daylight because we didn't have any big film lights, because no budget. So that left us with 2 options. Either come back another time to shoot the scene during the day, or change the scene itself and shoot it at night. I knew that it was probably going to be a mission to bring us all back together again on another day because of our tricky availabilities. So, even though we were all really tired, I convinced us to just have some quick dinner and keep going and shoot it as a nighttime scene. So we took a few minutes to change the vibe of the scene to make it make sense that it happens at night. In their argument at the tennis courts, one of them mentions a party that the other guy wasn't invited to. So we thought, hey, why not just show him coming home from the party? And then maybe the other guy can come down for a glass of water in the middle of the night and be salty that he wasn't invited. And just like that, without changing any of the dialogue, we technically rewrote the film on set while we were shooting. This made it possible to stick to our 1 shoot date. When you don't have any resources or time, you have to be really flexible with your story, and I don't think making it a nighttime scene made it any worse. It may even have made it better. You have to be ready to adapt to your situation if you want to get your self-produced short films finished. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day, just getting it done and putting it out there and moving on to the next one. Next was the editing process. How was the film rewritten in the post-production process? Well, after all that effort on set of rewriting the scene to make it happen at night, we got to a rough cut of the film and we decided that the opening scene just didn't work. To be completely honest, I just don't think it looked as good as the stuff at the tennis courts, and I didn't want to start the film with the visually weaker shots. The pacing also felt really weird because it was too fast. But then we showed the rough cut to a few of our friends, and our mate Daniel had a great suggestion. He suggested that we try intercutting between the nighttime scene and the stuff at the tennis courts to start the film. So I tried it out, and I made the nighttime scene more of a flashback montage that intercuts with the standoff at the tennis courts that opens the film. And we all really liked it. We thought it more clearly showed their beef, and it meant that we could start the film with the visually stronger shots from the tennis courts. So as you can see, this one scene went on a bit of a journey. In the script, it was a daytime morning scene. On set, it became a nighttime scene, and then in the final edit, it became part of a flashback montage. There were some other changes that only came up in the edit. One was the sheer pace of the rally montage at the end. Mate, who plays the angry/sad friend, suggested that we really ramp up the pace of the montage at the end of the tennis rally, and I thought it worked pretty well. It did mean we had a few extra beats where we didn't have any scripted dialogue. So then we added a few more lines, some grunts, and then there's this final moment where all the subtext is just clearly laid out for a split second in a subtitle. Both these changes came from being open to new ideas and collaboration with others, and in my opinion, they made the film better. But what do you think? Do you think it would have been better if we just translated exactly what was written in the script? Films are constantly changing throughout the process, from the script through to the final edit, and there can be many reasons for this. There's an excellent video essay that you might have already seen from Lessons from the Screenplay that describes an editing choice in Ex Machina where the scripted scene that was 2.5 pages long became just 2 minutes in the finished film. I'll leave a link for that video in the description below if you want to check it out. I highly recommend it. So as you can see, a film changes throughout the process for a whole number of reasons that can be practical or story-driven or performance-driven even. The best way to learn, in my opinion, is by writing a practice short film and seeing it through right to the end. If you stay open and flexible and adapt to your situations, you'll see just how much it changes throughout the process. But it all starts with a script. And I think what really helps you write a solid but achievable short film script is to have your practical constraints in place first. For example, one of our constraints on this short film was that we didn't want to hire a sound recordist, so that pushed us to get creative and come up with solutions to that problem. If you want to hear more detail about how constraints can help you write your short film scripts, check out this video where I break down 3 tips on how to write achievable yet compelling short film scripts. Thanks for watching, and until next time, thanks for watching, get out. Thanks for watching, now go and make something.